Spartans to Mission Debrief. We're playing every mission in the mainline Halo video game series in chronological order, discussing our experiences and sprinkling in a little lore along the way. If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts read on the show, email us at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet, podcastevolved on Twitter. We'll be reviewing Sadie's story from Halo 3 ODST on the next episode. This episode, we're debriefing the Data Hive mission from Halo 3 ODST. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krysta Brown.
Buggers. Buggers everywhere.
Everywhere.
Last mission, Kikowani Station. The ODST squad finally reunited, sans the rookie, of course, and had to find their way to save Romeo and get out of the city. With the maglev train tunnels flooded, Buck made the brilliant and or crazy, depending on how you look at it, decision to hijack a Phantom. The team does so with somewhat ease, but meets all sorts of resistance trying to get out of the city. Scarab boss fight anybody? Yes, please. Current mission, we are now descending into the Data Hive. So Rookie follows Dare's distress signal down into the new Mombasa underground that houses the superintendent's data center. Along the way, we meet a not-so-special friend that happens to work for the police commissioner, Kinsler. We'll explain all of that in the Sadie Story episode. After the Rookie deals with our corrupt police buddy, we team up with Veronica Dare, who's been planning to extract the superintendent amidst the Covenant invasion this whole time. However, the supercomputer has been absorbed by one of those weird floaty aliens that also happens to be an ancient Forerunner tech pet. I like tech pet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tech pet. I like it.
Date of the game is actually after midnight. David, you mentioned that you can actually find the time, right? Somewhere in the HUD?
Yeah. Yeah, if you open up the options menu that can cycle through, you can go left or right from the map. I think left brings you to the kind of objective screen. Gives a list of objectives, whatever your current objective is. You probably weren't aware of it or weren't using it because you don't really need to in this game. It kind of gives you your waypoints that you go through. But on the screen, we'll show you a little character image, like avatar of who you're controlling, and as well as the time that you're currently playing at. So right now, for the Rookie, if you go in there and take a look, it says after midnight. It means we're now in October 21st.
Mm-hmm. October 21st, and we've been wandering around for a while as Rookie.
A few hours.
Which I think kind of makes sense, especially if you've gone around and gotten all the audio logs. You know, you yourself have probably been playing Mombasa Streets for a couple hours, so that matches up pretty good.
Yeah.
So now we kind of talked about in the last mission, speaking of audio logs, the last mission was kind of your last chance to go around and get all the audio logs. I waited. I thought that I was going to be able to get them kind of in this little area here after Kikowani Station, and realized quickly that I could not because the city's pretty much shut off to this little section because they want to get you to the Dare, just to Dare, I guess. There's no specific beacon here. But it's actually a good thing. We didn't really talk about it. We talked about it maybe a couple episodes ago, was where the wandering around the city kind of becomes a little taxing or just gets a little old after a while, going from beacon to beacon towards the end of the game. Not that it's not a good mechanic and not that we don't like it, but towards the end of the game, you're like, okay, let me just do these missions. And I'll, if I want to wander around, I can do that on my own time separately. So I'm glad they finally just kind of take that out of the equation here. But if you didn't go grab all the audio logs, you'll just have to back out of your save, go open the mission separately, the Mombasa Streets mission separately, and then kind of go around and get everything. So we covered that in the last episode. So really now you're just kind of beelining it to there's a point on your map that you need to go to. So you there's a couple grunts I think that show up here, so you kind of clear them out, and then go around a corner and there are some jetpack brutes. There might be a brute Captain Major with a fuel rod back in this area. You actually can kind of just go off to the right. There's like a door. There's a button that you need to hit, and that will trigger kind of the cutscene where Rookie looks down. I don't think you have to clear out the area. I think you can just go there, and then it'll trigger the scene where Rookie looks down the elevator shaft and just hops on down because that's where the comm is coming from. I might have skipped over it, but you can hear at the very beginning of this, you can hear Veronica Dare kind of just reaching out, just trying to say, hey, I'm still alive. If anybody's nearby, come and help me out. So that's what
I think the element of urgency is added here because you see when she has her radio signal, you see a Covenant ship turn its Phantom turn its light on and kind of change direction quickly. I think that's giving the impression that they're tracking her signal.
Sure.
And then that's probably why you can't go anywhere else, because you now have to run and.
Oh, I never noticed that.
Yeah, happens in the little cutscene.
It wouldn't make sense, right? To your point, it wouldn't make sense for you to go, okay, now I'm going to go wander around the city, right? So
for 7 hours.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's like an open world game mechanic though. They're like, hurry, go do this thing, but you spend like 20 hours getting collectibles
We're all
and stuff.
gonna die,
so, like,
but I need to do the side missions.
Yeah.
I haven't helped Bob get his pastries.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's hop down. Let's not go wander because you can't. Let's hop down this elevator shaft and go track down Dare. I like it. Oh, and by the way, we're still rookie.
Yeah.
Still rookie in a mission, which is cool, right?
No beacons. Yay,
Rookie's
no
first
beacons.
Our silent protagonist hops down the elevator shaft, and this opening part is pretty eerie. I mean, they do a good job of setting the vibe of this mission here. You can see
corpses everywhere and
corpses everywhere. There's like a door opening and shutting on a Marine's leg.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Off the side, it's grunts are kind of all around. You can grab a shotgun. I grabbed a shotgun instead of the pistol.
Oh yeah.
I figured we're going to be in close quarters for this mission.
There's a lot of shotgun ammo on this mission, like a lot.
And the shotgun is handy for killing the drones, more so than what I remember. The drones are pretty weak, so as long as they're close up to you, like it'll just take them out, even if you don't do a direct headshot. So I was having fun with the shotgun on this. The atmosphere, as I mentioned, like it's eerily quiet here. You can kind of hear some computer tones and things like that when you're walking through, at least this opening area, which is cool. So you go through this door, and it's split into a couple different sections. So we kind of decided as we're planning out the walkthrough is, we're on level 7. We need to get down to level 9. So we'll talk you through some of the high points. Again, doing an audio walkthrough is just kind of a little bit of a weird thing. But we'll kind of talk you through some of the major stuff as we get down to level 9 and finally meet Dare. So this opening area is just kind of teaching you what this tunnels look like, and kind of setting, like, this is a big infrastructure of just a big computer data center down here. So it's just lots of computers. It's servers, right? It's dark because all
technical things, phalanges,
yeah,
all the bits are there.
And there's multiple encounters along the way. You kind of walk down this big giant corridor that kind of winds around, and you have Covenant in between you, and the next interesting areas are you walk up and through a door, and you're kind of in this white room now. It kind of feels like I don't know, like a quarantine area to a degree, but it's finally well lit. And then you need to climb through these rooms, and on the side you can kind of see Virgil popping up on the monitors and things like that. And you do encounter. This is where you encounter that police officer. This original area. Is that correct? Does that sound right to you guys?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a cool little bit of dialogue where you can hear the brute saying, "We have him cornered. Kill the creature," and all this kind of stuff. And then you hear like the cop giving out to Virgil because he won't open the door for him. Cool.
Yep. And so because we're doing Sadie's story on the next episode, we're going to kind of cover off on what happens with that guy if you have all the audio logs, and during the Sadie's story episode. So for now, he's this dude, and he doesn't last very long, right, Krysta? Like you'll follow him for a little bit. You do open up the hatch, and which Virgil wasn't opening for him, and then he dies pretty soon after that. Is that right? Or does he follow you all the way down?
He lasts through
There's
level 8.
There's a little bit more.
And right as you're going down to level 9,
Yeah.
he dies.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah. So what happens is like what I really one of the first bits of dialogue that Virgil has I love is that, like, when you meet him, he goes, "Careful, hitchhikers may be escaped convicts." That was one of my favorite lines. I
Yep.
thought it was cool, and that's to kind of like give you the inkling that
That's
something is not
Virgil
quite right
talking,
with this
yeah,
officer.
right.
Yeah,
Or I guess the superintendent.
Superintendent Virgil.
Yeah.
superintendent. Yeah, I guess it is Virgil now at this stage.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So we have him, and we're kind of following him around, and he does. I mean, the game needs you to have him for the next section to make sense. So he doesn't die. He actually does pretty well for himself, and he'll kind of hide off on the corners and here and there. But like you're fighting off these, lots of brutes along the way and some drones, and he still hangs around. So must be semi-competent, but he's not a ton of help, but he doesn't die. So there's that. He'll distract the Covenant as you're going along. So yeah, as I said, you kind of pop that initial I don't know what you would call that. It's like the little round area that kind of lifts up, and then you jump down into the tunnel below.
The
They
data
call
stack.
them data stacks. Yeah.
Oh, is that what they call it? Okay.
Yeah.
So you pop that data stack, head down to the next level, and what are you guys? I guess maybe we could just talk about this. Is what are you guys rolling with from a weapon standpoint? I mentioned I have a shotgun, and I think the other weapon was just whatever I could find that had ammo in it. I think I used a spiker quite a bit here. David, what are you typically rolling with?
Almost
these
this
tunnels?
time around, the exact same. Where I had a shotgun the whole time because there's so much ammo, and then my other weapon was like a cycle through whatever I picked up. So a needler at a bit at the start. I had a carbine for a good bit because a bit of ammo around, a bit of spiker. I can't remember what I came into this mission with because it changes based on what your loadout is. So I don't think I had much ammo left coming in because I was fighting outside on the streets, and you bring whatever you have in with you. So I didn't have a whole lot, and so I think it was a shotgun and a carbine for the vast majority of this mission.
Yeah, you can usually find carbine with some ammo along the way. I did have to drop it a couple times.
Yeah,
for the
there's
spiker.
some great fun with grenades that I love in
Yes.
this mission, especially in the tighter quarters of the tunnel. Throwing a spiker is so much fun, because the spikes bounce around and stuff like that, and you get some kind of cool segments of like spiking grunts and brutes and stuff.
I kind of like the spiker. It takes a lot more ammo to take somebody down, but I was having some good fun with it. It doesn't have that cooldown that some of the other weapons do, where you can just fill someone full of spikes. Granted, there's no explosion like the needler, but I was having a good time with it.
I
Krysta,
really
what-
like the
what are you rolling with?
reload for the spiker. You kind of just like slap
Yeah.
a new one in. It's really
Yeah.
it's really involved.
Totally.
I don't know why that I don't know, that was highlighted for me as I was going through. I don't know why. But so I started off, I had the pistol and I picked up a shotgun pretty early on. I ran out of ammunition for the pistol and immediately got a carbine and carried that pretty much through the entire mission. And then I ditched the shotgun because it just wasn't working for me, and I just had I switched between spikers and plasma rifles.
Oh, okay. Yep. Oh, with plasma rifles, really?
Yeah, the red ones.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't using those that much. Huh.
Yeah,
Nice.
I was just going between
Cool
those
plasmas,
two because brutes were dropping them left and right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I went through the tunnels with.
There was a point where I found. I think we talked about it earlier. What's that little like pistol shotgun thing called? I should have looked it up.
The Mauler,
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
okay, actually. I feel like that.
The
I've had some
Mauler-
decent
Yeah,
success.
we touched on it.
The Mauler's really useful in Halo 3 when you can dual wield them. That's
Yeah, we touched on this in an
that's
earlier
when they
episode.
pack a
They're
punch.
not really much use
Yeah.
in this game.
That's when they really pack a punch. And also, not a lot of brutes have them, so your ammo is super limited for those anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's fun to try it out, but it's not a super useful weapon in this game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I treated it just like a shotgun, so I was treating it, when a drone was in my face or something like that, it would do its job. But yeah, I mean, this area is interesting, as you're kind of going through, and again, you'll reach another point where you need to pop another hatch, and then go down below, and I think that's the hatch where all the bugs come out, all the drones come out of it. That second one.
Yeah, they come out of the first one as well. When you actually have the cop, it opens up and then they all jump out because the cop says something. Hey, Virgil, you trying to kill me or something?
Oh,
He makes like a quip
right.
about the fact.
I gotcha.
But it happens
Yeah.
both times actually. Now that I think about it. It does actually. Yeah.
It's this whole area is dark, and there's just lots of Covenant to go to in your way, and there's good reason. We'll find out here towards the end, but so we make it all the way down to level 9, and there's this area that looks like it's frosty or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So there's
Well, before you get to level 9, depending on your audio logs, what happens next?
yeah, and I'm not going to cover that right now. I'm not going to cover that now.
Yeah, so the cop dies essentially before you get to the level 9.
Yeah, the cop dies. One of the drones takes him out, I think. But there's this like weird frosty area where that's the part of Sadie's story that we'll cover on the next episode. But is there like a flamethrower around here? I missed it.
Oh yeah, there is. So directly opposite that door, that is all frozen over. You turn your back to it, go 180, and go into the top. Sorry, over to the corner to the right.
What?
There's a flamethrower, and it's amazing, and I love it, and I use it every time I come to this mission. Sometimes I play this mission just to use the flamethrower.
I think there's an achievement for finding it. I believe.
Krysta Brown, did you not know there's a flamethrower in this
I
game?
might have known back in the 360 version, but it's been a long time since I played ODST.
What was the other thing you didn't know that was ridiculous?
Halo 2.
That we found out on this show.
Stupid thingies.
Yes,
that weapon,
the Spectre.
The Spectre, yeah.
She didn't know the vehicle. Yeah,
Make fun of me.
That's right.
I'm really
Yeah, so
sad.
here's
I cry
Krysta's
every
Spectre
single night
equivalent.
because of the
Spectre.
torment you put me through.
So tell me
Yeah.
about the flamethrower, because like how much ammo does it have? I forgot to pick it up.
Dude, I'll tell you. It has a percentage, so it starts off with 100, so it's like a full tank. When you pick it up, it goes into third person. It's like a turret. So like your movement is much slower. It's amazing. It has like, it's designed very similar and hark back to pre-Halo 1 when they were showing off what Halo was before it was snapped up by Xbox. There was a flamethrower in that game, and design-wise, it's very similar to that. It functions, shoots some slow spouts of flame. It doesn't go very far, so you need to be careful. You need to really watch your reticle and wait for it to change color to go red to let you know you're in range to shoot. The best tactic is you can kill yourself very quickly with it, so be careful. The flame, it's like napalm, so the flame shoots out very slowly. It clings to an area. It's sticky flame. It's like the grenades, so like it sticks to the area that it lights. It does massive damage to everything. It kills everything. It's so good. It eats through shields. It's great for brutes, captains. It's true that it's great for... It can be a little bit awkward for buggers, especially when they fly up high and around and are fast. You need to be careful. Wait for them to land before you shoot them. Right after you pick it up, you enter into a room that's like has brutes, buggers, and some jackals shooting at a door, but grunts all shooting at a door trying to get in. This grenade, the flamethrower just cleans up shop in here because they can't fly very high. The buggers, the brutes can't currently go anywhere. It's just a big open room, and you just mince through the flames. Oh,
Does
so
it-
good.
Do you carry it through the cutscenes too, or do you lose it?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
No, I carried it all the way to as much as I could because I was like I'm quite good at using it now. So like you have to tap the trigger little bits, just little spouts of flame. Because if you hold it down, you'll eat through your ammo super fast, and you won't get much kills for it. Like you don't need. Once you hit somebody with it, they're dead. You don't have to keep flaming them. You just let it burn. Yeah, it's cool.
I'm getting kind of scared.
Oh,
I
Krysta,
need to.
it's so good.
I need to get back down there. I
love
feel
flamethrower.
like and experience this.
Yeah, it's fun. It's cool, man. It's just so much fun. It's just such a unique thing that what you wouldn't expect in this game, especially because it hasn't been in any of the Halos up to this point. It's not even in Halo 3. It's
Are you
only
sure?
ODST.
It's not in Halo 3?
I'm pretty sure
Halo
No,
1
I think
had a
there's no flamethrower in this
flamethrower if you had the PC version.
on the PC. Yeah,
Gotcha.
and it's this one.
Well, yeah, that definitely gives you a reason. If you didn't find that, go find that. Reboot this mission.
There you go, dude. Yeah, there's my flamethrower review.
So that door that those people, the Covenant are firing at, that's the Dare door, right?
The
Or is that a
Dare
different
door.
There, door,
The Dare door.
No, this is it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the
Because there's a
door.
bunch of like dead drones around too. So she did some job. She did her job at one point, as you're kind of getting down to the area, and was defending herself, which is kind of cool to see. And then you get a little cutscene here. Krysta, do you want to talk through this?
Sure. So she opens the door and immediately tries to shoot your brains out. Very nice of
She's
her.
pretty badass. This is good. Like it's setting her as the opening, the very opening of the game. she seems in charge, right? But then now that you're finally with her, she's badass. She's pretty tough.
Yeah. She obviously thinks you're Buck, so apparently that bullet was meant to shoot Buck in the head. She quickly hurries you into the door and starts talking about there's the superintendent. It's pretty cool. It's like it's this weird giant, like, just structure in the middle of a bottomless pit, it seems. So it's like, right. Interesting. Why is there a bottomless pit in the middle of the city? Mm-hmm. So that's the superintendent. She tells you that her mission the entire time was to secure the superintendent's data. She says, you're going to have a really fun time getting to the superintendent. It's going to be really nice. There's champagne down there. People are going to congratulate us. It's going to be really nice.
Good blue ribbon.
No. Instead, she's like, the buggers have kind of decided to make their gross hive all over the superintendent for some reason. And there's going to be like 1 million of them. You're like, awesome. She has
a cool moment where she says some geniuses decided to blow up the building on top of the shaft, which was the Oni
building. Yeah.
Oh, so that was us.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I picked up on that dialogue too, and I was like, "Wait a minute! I think that was our
was
fault.
That all did we do that? No.
Yeah.
But it's pretty funny. She also compliments us on how well we did because we've been solo. She's like, "You've done a very good job. Show me how good you are." And then we
but
start
she also
murdering
says,
people.
Unless you've been sleeping in your pod the whole time, which she pretty much has.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
Doesn't she ask his name too before they get interrupted?
This is like the first point in the game where legitimately he should be talking. Being a silent protagonist is stupid. And I think up to this point, fair enough, he'd know what to talk to, but like and even if his comms aren't working or damaged, he should be taking off his helmet and having a conversation with this woman. I think it's really weird that he says nothing. But anyway.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
I can agree with that. I understand why they did the silent protagonist thing, but silent protagonists tend to work when people don't talk to you very much. Like in Legend of Zelda, where it's just like, you need this sword, take it and go. And then you're like, I'm never going to talk to anyone in the game ever again. But, it is kind of weird because they're trying to plan something, basically. So...
Yeah.
But if you're not looking for it, you can kind of ignore it. So
sure.
And then we go to shooty bang bang.
Yep, let's shoot some stuff. But this office is kind of a cool office, right? It has this great overlooking of the superintendent. For some reason, I was thinking about like, do they put the entry level people down there, or are those like the senior people
I don't know.
that work in that office? Kind of a weird working situation.
Weird office.
But there's no guns in there either. So whatever you had going in, that's what you got going out. I did a quick sweep and didn't find anything. So, so then we're going to go track down the superintendent. I gave Dare the shotgun that I had, and she actually
took her pistol?
Did pretty good. Yeah.
She shoots that pistol so fast.
I was noticing that
she cycles that weapon so fast. It's crazy.
She also doesn't shoot anyone. She was really good at shooting like the walls and pillars and just random boxes. She did it really fast too. She really hates that stuff, or dead bodies.
She
loves
box.
the dead bodies. Just like pew, pew, pew.
Yeah,
it's crazy. You walk into an instance, you've already killed everyone, and then Dare just walks up and just goes. It's like, Dare, calm down. They're all dead. It's fine.
Maybe she thinks they're gonna be zombies. Do you know what I mean? You gotta make sure.
That's true. She did good with me. She did good for me with the shotgun, though. That's interesting. Huh. Like I felt like she went further ahead, and like she was clearing out some coveys for me, which is good. So I don't know.
She was throwing grenades at the buggers, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" Do you know what I was like? They're flying in the air all around her, and she's throwing frag grenades. I'm like, Jesus.
That's good. All right, so we're fighting down this tunnel kind of to start, And it kind of has a little bit of everything at this point. Throws all the Covenant variants at you. Every type of enemy. The drones start to become more and more apparent as you kind of get deeper down into the hive, which I thought was cool. This is the droniest of all drone missions in all of Halo, right? I mean, it's got to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're in one of the little house things.
I was looking around, and it's so cool just to see like all the kind of how they took over and just created their own hive.
It's nasty.
It's pretty cool. So, one bit of kind of lore about that, like the drones can create a suitable hive in a surprisingly short amount of time, considering the short time frame, less than a day, between the initial Covenant attack and the setting of this level. This is partially explained by the first 2 grunts encountered on this level, who point out that the drones have spent most of the time building their hive rather than sealing the complex's entrances, which is what they were ordered to do, which I kind of find is interesting. So they just take over and just ignore their orders.
The drones are kind of notorious for that, though. The Covenant have a hard time actually controlling them. They kind of just unleash them on an area and figure that they'll just become territorial over that area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's funny in some of the books and stuff where they're described as like the engineers, where like they're like repairing things in the ships and all this kind of stuff, and it's just weird to think of them like that, and that they actually have like. They don't like
because they took their jobs. They took their jobs.
Yeah. They took their
that's good. There's a bunker looking thing that you kind of fight through too. Not a ton of ammo in the area. I guess. I mean, I started for scrounging for weapons at this point. What I brought with me didn't really have enough. I think I'd run out of pistol ammo at that point. So. Once you kind of get through these bunker areas, then this next area, it's wide open, and there's no enemies in it, and it felt like a Mass Effect 2 chamber. Did you guys get that vibe at all?
Yeah, kind of.
It's like this big area, and you got like a couple different pathways to climb up, and it felt like, okay, I really want to be a third-person shooter right now and taking cover under this thing, but there's nobody to shoot, really. Dare chimes in. She says that they must be below the hive at this point. Do you know if I didn't play a ton of Firefight in ODST? Do you guys know if this is a Firefight map? It feels like it would be.
I think it is just based on the previous piece of lore. But they're in the previous episode. But I haven't played much Firefight either. And the 1 or 2 maps that I remember are always outdoors.
We are planning, hopefully schedules work out, we are planning to do a Firefight episode that we'll just put on YouTube. So look forward to that before the season closes. But then we do, so Dare says we're underneath the hive, so we hop on an elevator and head up into the hive. And in this room, clearly there's the hive, right? You can tell, and you're in this big server area too. The drones seem extra glowy green to me, neon green in this area. Did you guys pick up on that too?
Yeah, I did as well.
I was looking for one thing, because I had read it before I was prepping the script. Something I never noticed, but it's probably super obvious. Sorry, give me 2 seconds to scroll down. At the exit of the drone hive, a lone drone leader occasionally makes a final effort to attack the rookie's progress.
Yep.
You know that this is the only army leader encountered in the campaign. It's just maybe the leader of all the drones in New Mombasa. But he has an energy shield and uses a brute plasma rifle. I've never noticed this before.
I noticed it.
Colin, you copped it, did you?
I noticed it, but it was as I was leaving, and I just kind of said, that's interesting. That one has a plasma rifle, and then I just left the area.
Yeah, I don't remember ever registering that before, but because I was looking for it, I was like, where is this leader? And it was super obvious. He's a big red drone with with shields and a plasma rifle. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yep. You I think you can just beeline it for the door if you want to.
I think you can't do it. You don't have to fight these, I don't think. I think I do that on Legendary. I think I just speedrun this.
I mean, the drones aren't great shots. I mean, they will overwhelm you, but if you're smart about it, you can pretty much just kind of make your way through. There is this big area to wander around and kill the drones. I don't know. I mean, I did notice they actually kind of come out of the hives at one point.
They do.
So they must be. I wonder if they're infinite respawn in this area.
I don't think so.
or if you can just kind of clear out everything. I mean, it would try to take a little time, but
They kind of just spawn as you walk around. Is what I noticed.
So you deal with the drones or don't deal with the drones. You probably should at least experience this little boss fight. I guess this what do we call it? Drone Ultra.
Super drone.
So our drone leader, Yana leader.
So have some fun with him, and then proceed to the door, and then let's see here. We're dropping back down again. Is that right? I'm trying to think here. Look through my notes. Or we just open the door.
Find an elevator up. Yeah. Dare finds an elevator for you to go up. You do some lifts up and then you drop down holes.
Yeah. I think we do one more drop down. But anyway, you do get to a point where you finally are kind of at the door to this. Oh, I think that past this area is where it has that blue glowy things. Those like that are like checking if you're I don't know, have any weapons on you or something like that, or you know what I'm talking about?
A scanner.
Oh yeah,
of some
sorry.
sort.
Yeah.
You're a little bit far ahead. Yeah, you drop down on the brutes shooting the door.
Oh, okay.
Trying to
So
get
that's
in,
after
and they're
that.
like,
Okay.
yeah, that's where that scanner
Gotcha.
segment is. Right before you walk into the.
Okay, so the brutes are right in front of the door. There is a chieftain because you do get a gravity hammer.
Annoying.
And
there is a cool bit of dialogue where he's just like, "Open the door, you traitor." And you're like, "Who's a traitor?"
oh yeah, and then so there's a couple jetpack brutes to clear out once you have the hammer, or you clear them all out with whatever you have in your pocket. And then then you kind of do that scanner area, and now we get another fun cutscene. David, you want to take this one?
Yeah, this is actually interesting. Where I didn't know at the time, but depending on if you have all the data logs or not, this cutscene is subtly changed.
Really?
So
Okay.
yeah, so you'll enter this room. It's a dark room. It's the AI core, as it were. If you have all of the data logs, the default cutscene will play where the player has not collected all the 30 logs, right? So that shows a rookie aiming his gun and aiming it at Virgil before Dare stands in front and tells you to stand down. If you have all the audio logs, it actually sort of way around, where because the rookie has all the information from Sadie's logs or Sadie's story, so he knows who Virgil is and what this creature is, and it comes down, and she aims her gun at Virgil, and you, as the rookie, you tell her to stop, you motion her to stand down, and then you whistle for Virgil to come on out. So that's kind of pretty cool. So I was looking for it this time around, but I never noticed it before. So that's pretty much it. So let's say Dare stops the rookie from shooting. The Virgil comes out, and you see it's an engineer, and this is like the reveal surprise, where it shows Virgil, the superintendent, looking down, and you see the kind of memory core failure or whatever, and then you see the camera shut down. So all throughout the game, you're getting these little cutscenes and like camera angles that are obviously from like CCTV stuff, and you have like the superintendent symbol and all this kind of only stuff happening all around, and that actually shuts down and shuts off, and you never see it again in the game, because Virgil, quote unquote, the superintendent, has just been downloaded into this engineer, who is, what's the engineer's name? Is it Quick to Adjust?
Yeah.
Quick to Adjust is the name of the engineer, Hiragok, so which is now aka Virgil, and will henceforth be called Virgil. These entities merge as one, where he downloads the AI core into himself, because they're essentially, the engineers are like organic computers. So that's pretty much what happens. So you have the merging of the identity of the superintendent, Virgil, with Quick to Adjust.
So my
anyway.
understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that Virgil was a subroutine of the superintendent.
Yes.
Yes. So there is. This is kind of covered in Sadie's story,
and we'll
stuff,
talk about that in the next episode.
Yeah, superintendent is the computer running the city. The lead architect of this was Sadie's father, who put in a subroutine called Virgil to look after Sadie, because he's never
daughter.
around.
Yeah.
So Virgil is like the more human kind of side of this AI, which is not really much of an AI. Well, okay, yeah, whatever. It becomes a new thing when it merges with Virgil.
Yep.
Or to create Virgil. Anyway, let's go. We're getting very confused. But
You're doing good.
yeah, Dare is pretty much, now she realizes, obviously she knows what's going on, so she's like, excellent, and then we now have to protect this creature and get it out. And at the same time, I think this is where Buck comes online.
Yes.
Yep.
That's when you see him.
Buck comes online.
Yes. Yep. So Buck comes online, he messages, he somehow finds his way to right beside you, and is like, "Hey, there, girly friend, come, I'll save you." So she's like, "Excellent, Buck. What the hell are you doing here? Blah blah blah. Let's get the hell out of here." So you and the rookie now.
Now we head out. Yeah,
Begin.
one more little fight, one little area to deal with.
Bye.
So, did you guys make the distinction? Dare's mission was to get the superintendent, or did she know? Because there was at one point in this cutscene where she says, "Hey, we've seen these things before, but we've never seen them up close." Talking about the engineers. Do you think she knew that an engineer was in this superintendent?
She mentioned,
or did she just want to secure the superintendent data from the city?
I think she mentioned that she saw Virgil floating around the tunnels.
Yeah, but what she was trying to get was because the superintendent, and this is kind of covered in Sadie's story, but Sadie's father, he discovers the portal underneath, and the superintendent has all that data and information of like the survey of this area and all this kind of stuff. So that's what she's trying to get, essentially. So then it becomes obviously.
So she didn't know the engineer was there.
I don't think so, no. But obviously it becomes
so
a double whammy of like, hell yeah, give me all this data plus an engineer, which humanity would need, and obviously they can turn the tide of the war, and there's like a bit of a dialogue coming up, which is pretty cool on that.
Yeah, very cool. Happy accident here, serendipitous, whatever you want to call it. It's good to have one of these on our side, but we have to protect it first because they. So I think the rookie takes something off of him. Was that the bomb that's attached to him?
It was part of it, I think.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't cop that. Because I thought the bomb was done or deactivated already.
It's part of like his armor or something. Because I think
I didn't notice that.
He got the bomb removed somehow, and maybe it was just like a little piece of something stuck to him still.
Maybe the collar, yeah. The actual physical, maybe, yeah, okay. It was deactivated, but maybe
it was on one of his lumps.
Yeah. His engineer lumps.
His lovely engineer lumps.
Hey, eyes on the prize, Krysta. Looking at his lumps.
All right, so we now have Virgil to protect, and Dare says she's going to protect him, and depending on your difficulty, she doesn't always do the best job. I mean, I think he didn't die for me. Like the little prompt on the top would say, "Hey, engineer's in rough shape. Yeah, taking damage, and he's badly hurt." I think I died before, like just a couple times to make it down this little corridor area before he died. So I didn't ever experience it where he didn't make it. But I think it's they make it seem like it's possible, so it probably is where Virgil can die and then you can fail the mission. So yeah, you just kind of battle through a huge squadron of not squadron, just a huge Covenant group. Pretty much
loads of brutes.
Yeah, loads of brutes. Has a couple phantoms drop off. There's jackals. There's everything. Pretty much everything. I think there's another chieftain here too. I had a hammer, so I was, I hammered right away until I couldn't hammer anymore.
It's a good hammer.
And Buck is on the very opposite end of this. And I think in my playthrough, Virgil and Dare kind of made it down there before I did, so they actually ended up waiting for me. I don't know how that happened. But then you meet up with them at the end there, and then you kind of go through some more tunnels here. In this next area, and this is where I noticed. I think there was more. It was also in the other parts of the mission where the drones are kind of perched up on the ceiling, but it was really stood out to me here.
Oh yeah,
and
cool.
They're sleeping.
You can stealth all these if you're careful.
That's what I did.
Yeah, it's cool.
So then we kind of head down to a door that's locked, and then Dare says, "Don't worry, we have a key." Speaking of now Virgil, our floaty engineer buddy. And then this is the dialogue scene where Dare kind of tells Buck, hey, like, these engineers are pretty cool. We probably shouldn't be killing them. And Buck says, oh.
He's like, you haven't been killing them, right?
It's just, if you kill any? He's like, no. Well, maybe one or two.
Yeah, very good.
She's like, just great.
Very, very good. So then we just kind of clear out some more drones, hop in the elevator, and we're done. This felt like a long mission. Lots going on in this mission.
This was a long mission, dude.
I mean, you're traveling long way on foot. There's no vehicles, but you're just kind of going through these tunnels. And then I think it also feels longer because there's multiple cutscenes. Usually you're just used to one cutscene at the beginning, one cutscene at the end. But there's, it throws a lot at you. This mission also then just rolls right into the next mission, so there's nothing else to do. No more wandering around my boss's streets. It's like, okay, now we're just kind of almost done with the game here.
We're getting out.
Absolutely. All right. Anything to cover before community stuff?
Yeah, a few bits and pieces. So I touched on some of the lore. There's loads of this game, but some interesting stuff that I never considered. Any weapon the player acquires from the supply caches on the Mombasa streets will not be carried over into this level. Attempting to do so will cause the player to begin the level with the default loadout of the SMG and the SOCOM pistol and 2 frag grenades. But if you have Covenant weapons like I did from the streets that you got fighting in, you do bring those over. It just seems specific. The heavy weapons on the supply cache won't come in. So sniper rifle, rocket launcher, and whatnot.
So just a note on MCC doing the playlists, I always started with the silenced SMG and pistol, no matter what I had. So from a playlist standpoint,
really?
they always default you back to that loadout.
Okay. Interesting to know. Just Covenant weapons such as fuel rod and the beam rifle will carry over. So that's what happened to me. The player starts this level on sub-level 07, another 7 reference because that's a Bungie thing. The 9 sub-levels before the player meets there is one of the game's many references to the Divine Comedy, specifically the 9 Circles of Hell. According to the book, the 9th level of Hell is actually cold, and this is reflected by the frozen area where the player finds stuff that insulates his body, which is something I never
Is that frozen area, is that touched on when we're going to cover Sadie's story? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah. Throughout the level, there are monitors showing the superintendent's status. If the player gets too close to these screens, the superintendent will interrupt the display, labeling the information as classified. In addition, some corrupt screens will flash the binary code for Barrett, which is a reference to the level designer, Chris Barrett. So I was like, oh, I never noticed that. Just before entering the sub-level 8, the player will encounter an MMPD officer. Superintendent is seen acting strangely towards him, refusing to open the stacks and saying phrases like, warning, hitchhikers may be escape convicts. This is later. I don't know why I'm saying this now. Oh, sorry. The reason why. Hitchhikers may be escape convicts. This is a reference to this final segment in the level of the Maw and Halo Combat Evolved.
Oh, yeah.
Hitchhikers may be escape convicts.
Who said? Oh, was that a title screen?
Yeah. It was one of those subtitle screens.
I
gotcha. Okay.
The last missions.
Cool.
Yeah. So I thought it was cool. Using theater mode, one can see that the MPD officer does not actually die if ambushed by drones. He simply takes a few steps and disappears.
He's just like backing up. He's like, I'm dying. Oh, no.
This is the only level in any of the games where the player can use a flamethrower against non-flood NPC enemies, i.e. Covenant, which is so cool. The superintendent's data core housing is very similar in design to the 4 power core chambers in Marathon video game series. So that's like a Bungie thing. Bungie does Marathon. Yep. And there you go, people. That's a bunch of trivia stuff in there. Lots going on in this mission.
Lots of good stuff. All right, let's do community and get out of here. We are almost done. So we're going to make you wait. We're going to do some Sadie story first.
And then a recap with a special guest.
Yeah. Ooh, that's right. Let's do a little teaser. Special guest.
Boo.
All right, Krysta, why don't you start us off on Discord?
All right. Some guy named Colin on the Discord in the mission debrief section on my phone says in English with words.
What date is it?
Today, actually.
Okay.
It was actually posted today at 12.
It was last night.
Really? Oh, maybe my thing hasn't. It says today at.
No.
Oh, it's 12:02
today. It was
a.m.
like
That is
exactly.
technically
Oh wow!
today.
Cut a tight.
Man, he is up late. This guy, 12. Yeah. My goodness. He says, "What would you name your pet engineer?" Question for mission debrief. Data Hive. Scud Puddle says, "Sack of air or balloon boy." Very literal. Axteef117 says, something drifts. For some reason, I feel like calling him slimy or gazy, even baldy. So, these people aren't very nice to the engineers. Shadow of...
They're very literal.
Shadow of says, Sir Float a lot. I kind of like that one.
I like that. That's good.
Redacted 17 says Avery after Sergeant Johnson.
Nice.
Too soon, man. Too soon.
We haven't gotten
What?
that far, David.
What?
Stop.
What? Stop.
Matt says keeps floating away. That's pretty good.
That's cool.
Halo Fanon says flies pretty good.
That's all right.
And then Redacted says for a brick. So flies pretty good for a brick, if anyone
Ooh,
understands that.
Oh, that's kind
And
of
then Colton says George.
What?
That's funny, because I'll lead straight into the Facebook where the first message is by Colton that says George.
He replied on both.
Or Ian,
Blasphemy.
yeah, Ian then commented on that saying, shouldn't it be deader than most? Which is pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Then Colin replies again, George. So he double post Colin, good job. Krysta Brown replies, George. Good job, Krysta. David Elward, depends on how it floats. Very good. Matthew says automatically centers, auto for short. That's really good. David says boosts efficiently. I also like that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good Facebook. Facebook got some good Urgok names. Justin, credible. It just says Craig. I don't know what that is. Colin posted a GIF. He doesn't really know what it
It's
is.
from Friday.
Friday.
Movie Friday. Get out of here, Craig. Come on. All right, never mind.
Boo.
Boo. Anyway, Robert Weeder says Wilbur. Maybe over my head. Timothy Welch says Bob's much too low. Oh, that's good. I like that, Tim. Luke says Krang or Shuckle. That's pretty good. Luke then, oh my god, all the George comments. Sure says Arby. It's pretty good. Or also Caleb says Boy George.
Yeah.
There's some great names in there.
That's
I like
good.
this.
What would you guys? Anything off the top of your head, Krista? Got anything good?
Luke
What'd you name
Skywalker.
your- Very nice.
I don't. Also, we got a lot of floats, this and that. Have we talked about how the engineers actually name themselves?
We might have touched on it, but why don't you just give us a refresher?
Okay, so the engineers are strange as their naming conventions are actually just describing how this engineer works.
As soon as it's born.
So
yeah.
it's kind of like a technical. It kind of is highlighting what makes them kind of unique is what they name them after. So one of them is called lighter than some, meaning that they made it and it was lighter than what the normal engineer weight is, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's what drifts.
Prone to
Prone
drift.
to drift. That's another really good one. So
Quick to adjust.
quick to adjust. So they all have these these computers aren't very creative when it comes to naming conventions. They're more technically creative. They just
They're literal.
yeah, they're like, it's like you go up to someone, you're like, I'm gonna call you pretty tall.
Yeah, right.
Taller than some.
Taller than
most.
a big your nose is bigger than most. Just
Right.
stuff like that. So it's a very literal naming convention, which is why most of these engineers actually get some kind of human name. So they have their Hergok name, and then they have a human name like Virgil or something like that. So they all get their little nicknames.
Virgin is a unique situation, but it's a better name than Quick Switch. Easier to remember anyway. And obviously Virgil has the relationship with Sadie, which comes into place later on in like other books and stuff.
But when the humans usually interact with Hergok, they usually they call him Lighter or something
Give them
like
a
that.
nickname or
they
something.
give him some kind of nickname.
Yeah,
Just to it's easier for us to read and it's easier for them to say. So that's why so many of them were like, deflating often or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was thinking
That's
about the
good. I
naming
like that.
convention like that, what Halo established to be the names, and you would think it'd be fairly limited, but just hearing all the creativity that we've had in these groups, like the options are pretty open, pretty broad.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So, yeah. Very cool. Thanks, guys, for everybody that wrote in. We love hearing from the community, as always. I think we're done.
I think it's been a long haul.
Mm-hmm. I think we're going to talk about some Sadie stuff on the next episode.
I gotta get all of those audio logs.
Get the audio logs. You can go online and watch or listen. There are little, there's like a slideshow or a kind of a comic book storyboard, right, that goes along with it. The full story is about 50 minutes or so. So just beware
that's cool.
of that. A couple commutes or one long commute, depending on how it works out. But pop on YouTube and you can find somebody that's strung it all together for you. Have it a listen. Listen to it twice. There's lots of good stuff that's in there. Lots of weird stuff in there too. But we'll be covering that in the next episode. So that'll do it for our debriefing of the Data Hive mission from Halo 3 ODST. On the next episode, we'll be covering, as I said, Sadie's story. Send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com. Drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. Until next time, evolve.
Evolved.
Evolve.
Okay.